and seeing more and more. I was walking around as well as like major conventions and seeing other people saying come up, oh, I like a cosplay, and pretty sure they didn't mean anything bad, but this was kind of like more of seeing and hearing like, oh, I like this character that you're doing, but this character is not of a dark skin complexion, and it just kept going more and more, and I was shocked to hear this. I kind of thought we all nerds because we all been through a struggle as from elementary even to college of being our true selves because we couldn't because we did not want the world to see how we really are for our love from everything from anime to geekdom. And that's where the idea of BlerdOver came to make a safe haven and to celebrate the black excellence inside the nerd community. And it's not per se to make, to make a stand in the thing. It's just something like a safe space for us. And we're not excluding everybody, but it's just the focus of the African Americans of what they've been through from their childhood to their adulthood to the nerdhood, and just to see what can we do more just to help each other out to be more acceptable and be safe in these communities.
Okay, awesome. So, evidently we had a little bit of a hiccup with getting started. It is my
Uh-oh.
first nerd talk. No, no, you did fine. I messed
That's fine.
up.
It happens. It's happened. Believe me.
So, again, we are joined by Micah Blair today to talk to us about the Blurred community and the things that they do for charity and just for general exposure in conventions and other gatherings of geeks. So, we're super excited to have you with us today. And yeah, so trying again. Sorry about that.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. So tell me about your personal journey of being a blurred. Like, what makes BlerdOver unique in your experience in cons?
Oh well, it starts with me growing up as a baby. For one, my mother, I think she introduced me into the nerd community without her knowing that I was going to be in the nerd community. The first fandom that I ever grew up with that I still love today, I'm pretty sure everybody can see it right behind me, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And from that's seeing a group of you know, turtles being brothers and having their father as a rat. They're seeing how they treat each other as family, some of the life lessons they taught. I mean, of course, the colors, the weapons, and that's the whole cartoon caught my interest. And for every day of my birthday, I wanted nothing but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't care about anything else. My birthday had to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme. And she could tell you, my mom could tell you, like from my bedroom, everything was green. You cannot go a step without nothing green. Even the toothpaste was green. That's how much dedicated I was for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And growing up further into my life, I started meeting more people in elementary school. Talking about Power Rangers, talking about Pokemon cards. Pokemon, oh God, I miss Pokemon cards. But and Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and just talking about that, trading them, playing them, and just seeing the show Pokemon. And these are things we used to talk about in school. But once we came to that middle school, fifth grade age, that's was when everything started to come more serious. Kind of like, all right, I want to focus on girls. I want to do sports. I don't want to talk about these nerdy things or play video games. So that's what I want to focus on. Then that's when the separation kind of came between my friends and me for being a nerds because they want to talk about it, but they can't because they want to be the cool kids in school and they don't want to be caught with me talking about these nerdy things. So that's where the separation came. And then from there, from that experience, because I even it was a story that I told on the documentary. It's called Being a Blur. It's on YouTube. If y'all ever get a chance, check it out. And I said it's this part of the story where I actually been bullied, and it went so far that I actually had my head dumped in the toilet in middle school for being a nerd. So from there, I kind of know how it is to be different, to be left out, to be an outcast in the nerd community because some people feel that way. So I know the struggle from hearing most people's stories because I relate to that person as well. We may not be the same, in the same state or, same country, but we all can relate to that story of us being bullied, being talked about for being nerds.
Sure, sure. Do you play you were talking about nostalgia for Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. Do you play any of the like online games that they have now for those?
Not yet, but I want to. Is
Okay.
Pokemon Go still a thing? Because I know
I mean,
I
I
was having
still
fun
play
with it.
it.
Oh, okay, okay,
I
good,
still
good,
play it. We can be friends on Pokemon Go.
yes,
We can send each
awesome.
other gifts. It'll be great.
Okay,
Um, but Yu-Gi-Oh actually has they have a streaming game. I don't know as much about it. My husband plays it, and it's like an international community thing. He watches people on Twitch play Yu-Gi-Oh together.
oh
It's
wow,
like a whole to do. I'll have to send you the link after this.
please
Um,
do.
yeah, but yeah, super fun. So what advice, since you've kind of started up your own niche community, what advice would you give to someone who is wanting to start up their own little niche community, like for other types of nerds?
Oh, that's easy. Three things: be yourself. Let people see who you really are. Don't try to put on a persona just because you want to be, famous, you want wealth from this community. Just do it because, you can relate to everybody that's in your community. Number two, find that niche, find that thing that's kind of, what people are kind of missing out on. If they're missing out on cosplay, talk about cosplay. If they're missing out on tabletop gaming, do some lessons or do some tutorials on tabletop gaming. Find your niche in that community. And thirdly, have fun. Let's have fun with it. Don't stress. Don't overwork yourself. Have fun with it. Cause from the beginning of this until now, every step has been a blessing and I enjoyed it. I'm loving it. So have fun with it. Those are three things I would tell somebody if they want to be part or, stand out in the nerd community.
Right on, right on. What was your first win that told you that you were on the right track with BlerdOver?
Um when I asked somebody, can I interview them? And they said yes. I was kind of shocked. I was like, wow,
I feel
you
you there.
sure? Like,
I can identify with that.
so you're doing something awesome, like because he's like, wow, you said yes. You don't know me, but okay, I feel good about myself now. And then from there, it's kind of like, oh, I like you did this interview. Can you interview me? And then it started growing to everybody want to be interviewed by me. Somebody who's a nobody from Birmingham, Alabama, with a small idea, and it kind of just grew. So that first interview, when that person said yes, that was kind of like a wake up call, a big win for me.
Sure, sure. What is the biggest challenge that you faced with BlerdOver?
Oh, the biggest challenge. When people come in and say that I'm being I'm being racist
Okay.
towards I'm being towards the community because what I'm doing. So you saying that Caucasians can't join or you kind of exclude everybody. No, that is not the case at all. It's kind of focus on African American nerd community because we have a history of being uncomfortable in certain spaces and we can't go to our other people of our race and talk about these things because we will be judged by them as we're judged by the Caucasians of this community. Because so it's kind of like, where do we fit in at? So I'm kind of making a platform for people to come out of African American race to be themselves, talk about the things they want to talk about and not be judged.
Right on, right on. I can see how someone might accuse you of being like divisive or something like, but that's the thing with communities that are about being prideful about something is that like we are special, like
Right.
um yeah. So what is a typical con like for you? I understand that you just got back from a very hectic con tour situation because I've been following your socials and I know you've been all over the place lately. So what's a typical con like for you? What kind of things do you do for your community?
Oh, that's a good question. So, like you said, being on the con tour, like you said, basically we go, we set up my mic, set up my interface, and we do live podcast interview at conventions for people who have never been interviewed and they would like to be interviewed. So we do that for them and give them that experience of being interviewed. Um, we talk to them. We tell them about what BlerdOver does. I'm kind of in in a beginner stage of learning to DJ. I play music to have, to have a good vibe for people to come, line dance. And you know what's shocking about that? I'm still surprised that people still love the Macarena. People went crazy when I played that. I was like, wow, okay, so
It's a good
that's
go-to because anybody can learn it. It's
exactly,
like the
exactly.
electric slide; it'll never die.
There you go. And we pass out shirts, we pass out wristbands, pins, stickers, and we just make it a good vibe for everybody, not just for African Americans, but for everybody to come and be themselves and just to enjoy one another, to network, to connect, and that's like hey, we are nerds, we love the same thing, so let's just have a good time.
Right on. So how is the reception in your community? Like, for example, do you feel like when you go and you're handing out buttons and stuff, do you feel like people are really receptive to it, or do you feel like they're kind of resistant?
They are very appreciative of it. It's this like the look like for me the little things that count. That's an organization that's giving them a pen, a wristband, a shirt. I had one woman that actually cried because I gave her a shirt, and she said, I never would expect that somebody would like my work, and you giving me a shirt for what I do. This is very touching. I never had this happen before, and from there, that was kind of like overwhelming because growing up in a Christian home, loving God and Jesus, and that's it's the little things that count the most. Because if you can appreciate your minor blessings, just think when you get to those major accomplishments how you can handle it because of those minor ones.
Sure, sure. Um, so tell me about, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about some of the things that you guys do for your community, so far as the charity stuff, because I'm really interested to hear more about that.
Okay. Um, for example, when I first started off with BlerdOver, it's the first charity event I actually did was a Christmas toy drive because I'm in a law enforcement, so I really don't have a Christmas no more because we grown, so we can just buy stuff as we go. So Christmas as a kid used to be awesome because you never know what you're gonna get, but now since you grown, you got your own money and everything, you can buy what you want. It's kind of like, huh? So I actually told my mom one time, like, Mom, Christmas gonna come. She said, "What you want?" I really don't want to do that. I just want to bless other people. Just bless other families that are, less fortunate. They cannot go out into those major Christmas drives that that Birmingham have. Some of the people not knocking what Birmingham does for the city because you have some people you know that are not good. They will still go to these drives and try to get these presents just to add more and to their gifts. But what about those other families that can't make it? They don't have, they can't go to the bus. They don't have a car. They can't afford Uber or Lyft. What about those families that are very less fortunate? So I took it upon myself and talked to my mama. Let's bless 5 families for Christmas. I just have get in touch with some families, have their kids to make a Christmas toy wish list, and we'll try our best to try to get everything off that list. And then I put it upon myself, say, let me ask the community if they would like to be a part of that. Sure enough, I got a great response. And for the first time, the first event of the Christmas toy drive was a success. We have gotten out of families. We got 3 bikes, we got basketballs, we got game systems, we got toys, even clothes, and we gave it to the kids for Christmas. And what's crazy, later today, I actually saw one of the family members. The mom came up to me. I was kind of scared how she approached me. She's like, "Hey, ain't you?" I was like, "Oh God, please, did I take you to jail?" No, 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 nothing like that. But you the one that came to my house and gave my boy that basketball and that bike. I was like, "Yeah." Oh, he still remember you. I was like, "Whew, okay, good. I'm good for 2 reasons. So we ain't had no involvement with my job, and two, that he still remembered me for what I did. And from there, I kind of want to do more charity events. We did a Christmas toy drive. We did a disaster relief when the tornado struck here in Birmingham. We are right now in the process of doing a water drive for Jackson, Mississippi, and we still are asking for donations. So if y'all want to, y'all can. We have collected enough clean men and women's underwear to give to those homeless shelters because the men and women in these shelters are don't have anything like that of that nature. They got t-shirts, they got socks, but some of them are like really want is a pair of underwear, and that's kind of shocking because we overlook those things because we could get that at will. That things like that of that nature, just to give back to the community. And so far we have did 3 toy drives. We get a back to school drive as well, where we gave 5 blurs backpacks filled with notebook, pens, tablets, everything they need for the school year. Of course, including book bags, and that's pretty much of the charity events we have done so far. But we still try to work on more. And if anybody in the community would like to help, or even sponsor or be a partnership in it, it'd be great to appreciate it because we are still building nonprofit organization, and we would like to see it to go far because we are more than what people see us as. We are more as cosplayers, game streamers, tabletop gamers, that we are actually for our community.
Okay, so what's the best way for people to get in touch with you if they want to get involved? Do you use Facebook? Are you Instagram? Like, what's
Uh,
your best way to get in touch with you?
our email, which is blurdover19@gmail.com, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you could type blurred over in on any social platforms, you can pretty much find us there. So
Okay.
9 out of 10, it would be me, it would be Christy, it would be anybody of the blurred over crew to respond.
Okay, great. Um, so who are some of your influencers or role models in content creation? Like, who are you watching to kind of figure out how to build your own community?
uh RDC World, King Vader, if people don't know who those are very popular content creators. They started from the bottom. Now look at them. RDC have their own conventions, which has been running for almost 4 years now, and now they have enough bigger venue. They are moving their convention to Austin, Texas. King Vader started off making TikToks and making YouTube videos, and now he's on helping producing with Netflix. So basically, like those two right there kind of inspire me because I love seeing their videos. I love the acting, the skits, the comedy. They were funny, silly, but they also never forgot where they come from. And that's why I've tried to put a message out to people. Once you make it in life, don't forget where you come from. Don't forget about the people who help you get to where you are. So I think out of those two, those have been like the major content creators I've been seeing since I've been growing up. And that's why I'm trying to base it off of them, but doing it my way just to give back to the community and to be seen in a positive light, and not be doing anything derogatory, anything of that nature, just to get views and likes, because we have all seen like the little pranks, kids destroying the bathrooms in a high school. I still don't know how they got away with that one, and things like that. Just doing it a positive light. I say it's okay, that's funny, but you could. There's other ways you could get notice and fame on the internet.
Sure, sure. So I take it you're not a fan of TikTok.
I am. I'm on TikTok myself.
Okay. Okay. We all have something. I admitted earlier that I still play Pokemon Go.
Right.
um, so you got started around 2019, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So 2020, as we all know, the world ended. How
Yes.
has the COVID pandemic affected building a community? Because a lot of people struggle. There's still people right now who are housebound, and hopefully they're
Mm.
tuning in to kind of get a piece of what we work on here at the library. But how has COVID affected your community, and how has it affected your convention presence?
Honestly, because 2020 was going to be the year that BlerdOver was going to be actually featured at any conventions, but of course, when the pandemic hit, they kind of took it away. So took it upon myself. Out of this, we made a podcast. We started talking about nerdy things, and we started posting it every other Tuesday. And also, that's when I got more and more into the interviews. And some people say, that kind of helped them to giving that type of vibe, that type of feel to being at a convention. So just hearing somebody else's experience being at conventions, or what they like or what they love. So it kind of hurt it blurred over, but more out of it a blessing came because blurred over actually got known during the pandemic because of all the interviews and all the skits and podcasts that we were doing.
Okay, cool. So it actually helped you guys a little bit. That's one thing that I really enjoy about virtual programming is that we can reach people anywhere that they are. Um,
Exactly.
and people who aren't necessarily able to come to the library and be a part of our programs, they actually get to, be a part of something bigger. And I know that whenever we were stuck at home because we were closed for like a month or something like that, and
Mm.
whenever we were closed, like I really heavily depended on online content creators to bring me news about what was happening in the world outside my house,
Right.
which was really nice, just to have some form of human contact out there.
It's exactly because it's just so well just to have that human contact, but during that time you really could it's like I can't really go out. So luckily you still have the news, you still have your
Right,
YouTube, your game streamers doing their thing. So that's kind of it was kind of like a looked up thing right there. So
right, right. So speaking of real life, how do you balance blurred over with your real life? You mentioned that you're in law enforcement.
yes, it's it's kind of because what's kind of funny. Somebody actually told me they say you kind of like Bruce Wayne during the daytime, and you kind of like Batman at night. I was like, explain. First of all, you're in law enforcement, so you using your job to find things that actually you can do for the community, and then at night you're actually getting using those ideas that you saw during the daytime as well. So it's kind of much like giving that also what's going on with law enforcement now and with people of color as well. It's also try to give it that type of feel like what he's doing. He's a nerd. Not only he's a nerd, he's a black nerd, and not only he's a black nerd, he's a black nerd that is a law enforcement officer. So so actually I'm trying to be that that very different person. So he's a human being that loves nerdy things and he's silly, but he's also a law firm. So he actually loves to help his community, serve his community, and also serve another community that nobody knows about and does positive things in it. So it's trying to give a positive outlook with law enforcement to the nerd community, and not only to the nerd community, but to the world as well, saying that all officers are not out to get you or are not bad. There are actually some here doing their job and going beyond their job just to show the light and the positive side of law enforcement.
Okay. I can see that. I can see how it would be difficult to kind of manage some of the bad that you see though. Like,
Yeah.
does it ever kind of take the wind out of your sails to deal with the bad stuff at work during the day?
Actually, it does. It does. But luckily I have some family members that's that are retired law enforcement that used to work for the same department that I'm working for now. Let's talk to them about it. They're saying, keep God first, keep your mind sane. Find something positive. Even though it's something bad, always find something positive each day at work. It might be the littlest thing. It might be a kid waving at you. It might be in somebody buying your lunch. It might be telling the person you taking to jail, telling them, they telling you thank you because they need this to get on the right path. So always find something positive in that day just to get you by. And luckily, when I come home, y'all can't see everything, but this is like my little man cave. I have everything that reminds me of my childhood, and that helps a lot too when I get home. It's kind of like a like a decompression, like all the bad go, like all the positive vibes. That's looking at certain pictures and frames that was part of my childhood that made me who I am today.
Right on. So you describe yourself as silly. Do you think that the people you interact with Blurred Over would describe you the same way as the people who interact with you as a law enforcement officer?
Very much so.
You think so?
Very
Okay.
much. I,
Okay.
I had my one of my supervisors came up to me today, say, "Yeah, I know about you making your TikTok." So kind of like, yeah, So yeah, they can tell like, yeah, he's silly, but he also does his work, but he's very silly.
Right on, right on. I think it's important to carry that with us in our jobs. Like sometimes, whenever people are at the library, they'll ask like, how do I get to nonfiction? And I tell them to go all the way down the hallway until it gets really quiet, and then you'll know you're there.
Right.
And some people laugh at me, and I'm just like, yes, I did a joke. you know? And some people just kind of blankly stare at you, and it's just like, oh, my bad. It's to the
Oh
left. like, you know,
yeah.
do you
I'm
feel
gonna
like
go in
there's
my
a
corner now.
certain performance expectation for being a law enforcement officer?
Say it again.
Do you think that there's like a performance expectation? Like, do you think that people expect you to be this certain typecast of? of what a cop is supposed to be.
Yes and no, because you got some people that are shocked just to see how I interact with them and how I talk to them, kind of like, you're very different for a police officer. I was like, you know what? Yeah, they gave me a badge and a gun. Ain't this wild? But then again, sometimes I get serious, kind of like, I'm just doing my job. But, I emphasize with people because growing up, my family taught me, they trained me to be an officer at a very early age. They know how, learn how to read people, see what's going on around them. If you go up to a woman and she's frustrated and she's, driving erratically, look at like what's going on. It's summertime. She got a kid in the car crying. So the heat, kid crying in the car, she probably lost her job or she probably finna get fired or laid off. So that could dwell on people. So understand, talk to people, get to know them as well. So empathize with people. That's don't always be you did this, I'm giving you this ticket, or you did this, you going to jail. There's always a story for everything.
Right, right. I feel that. So tell me about the future of BlerdOver. Like, if you could do anything in the next year, what would you do with BlerdOver?
Oh, if I could do anything with BlerdOver, what would be the next? Oh man, I would have outings to have functions in Birmingham for nerds to come out. That's the network. To have like special screenings at movies. Having our own convention here. Just doing more. Doing something for Children's Hospital or to run a McDonald house. Dressing up as a superhero for a day to go see the kids. That's to inspiring them, have fun with them. That's to interact with them. Those like are the major things that I'm looking forward to with BlerdOver going. That's doing in the city of Birmingham. That's to give that like we have everything going on. We have the sports going on here. We have music. We have entertainment, but there's not a scene for nerds in the city of Birmingham.
That's true. That's true.
So I would like to do more for the nerds in Birmingham for all races, not just black. Just to come out, be themselves, have a good time, and show like, okay, Birmingham has everything. They had the World Games. Now they got a nerd scene. Now they got entertainment, music. So Birmingham is up on, it's on the upcoming.
Hmm. Especially with that City Walk Park. Have you been out there yet?
Oh yes, it's beautiful.
Isn't it fantastic?
It is.
I
It
was
is.
there and I was just like, look what Birmingham did. Like,
Right.
so when you're, because I've been watching your socials, how do you choose who you're going to cosplay as? Like, or do you go for things that are accessible, or do you go for things just like over the top because you want them? Does that make sense?
It does. Sometimes, since I'm grown now, I could pay for everything. So it feels good to do that. So I was like, I'm finna go over the top. It's gonna be tight for a couple of days, but still, I'm finna go over the top. But it's mostly of the characters that I could see myself as. For example, I made a big hit doing the Riddler, and the reason I love the Riddler, he has that very dapper gentleman type of style to him, very intellectual. He can answer any riddle if you throw it to him, and I kind of like sometimes like to debunk riddles, and I like to ask people riddles as well. So I did Riddler. Was like he was my first cosplay, but he was my best cosplay. But my first cosplay was Nigel Uno from Code Name Kid Next Door #1. That was my first cosplay, and from there, it's really what I want. I see myself as, and how can I pull it off?
Okay, very cool. See, I've always been into cosplay, but I'm into like, I like to watch it. I like to watch people putting their costumes together and stuff.
Right.
Like, I watch a lot of YouTube do it fast videos, like, you know, where
Hey,
people are like, "Oh, I'm just gonna throw this on the sewing machine and ta-da, I've got a cape." Like,
ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
Because
I'm a sideline nerd.
me too. Because sometimes I look at these people and say, "Who? I wish I wasn't lazy. I was doing the same thing you doing right now." But that's a lot of work. Good job. Because
Right.
it's just amazing how they can get foam, or how to make the helmets, or how to make the whole plate, the bodysuit. That's kind of that. That is very talented. That is. I wish I can do it, but I can't. But good for you.
Right. I saw someone one time who had put together like an entire Transformer costume,
Yes.
and it moved. Like they were able to walk in it and stuff. And it just blew my mind, like the things that people can do, and I cannot do those things.
Right. I kind of like. I'm so jealous. I just want to just take your costume apart. But I know you worked on it. But good for you. I'm happy. I'm happy.
Right. Good for you, but
Exactly.
Cool. So tell me about Dragon Con because I know you were just there, but you weren't there for BlerdOver. You were there for Micah, right? Is that right?
Yes, yes. What? Evidently, I was, but my girlfriend got press passes, so I'm there for Blurred Over now. So we're
Sweet.
doing that. I hope she's watching. Um, so we got there. We was going around, and I'm gonna tell you the incident that happened too. We was going around. So we were trying to get these passes because it was kind of like it was our first day there, but they was kind of closing shop to pick up passes and everything. And of course, you could come the next day and get it, but we trying to get everything done right then and there. So we walking around, and if y'all ever go to DragonCon it consists of 4 hotels, so you're gonna be doing a lot of walking. Be prepared for that. So we going to this place. We got this pass here at Hotel A. Now we got to go all the way back to Hotel B to go down to get these and all approved. So we're walking to Hotel B. Me not paying attention. I'm in flip flops. I'm being comfortable. I walked into a metal doorpost with my pinky toe, and oh god, that was the worst pain in the world. So my pinky toe was kind of swollen and fractured for the whole con. So it was certain cosplays I couldn't do because of my pinky toe. Yeah, people don't judge me. I say pinky toe. Um, and so I had to relax and take medicine and everything like that. But sure enough, the swelling started to go down. So I started going to a John to enjoy the con more. And Dragon Con, I tell you, if it's your first time going to Dragon Con, I advise you to go to your local cons. It would get you prepared for Dragon Con because this year Dragon Con attendees had over 65,000 people in Atlanta just for Dragon Con. So you had a lot to see, but you missed some things because it was people everywhere. You talking about people walking downtown dressed up as the Joker, dressed up as Goku, Vegeta. You're around your people. So DragonCon is a major con to go to. I advise you take precaution, take water, take some comfortable shoes, pace yourself. If you want to go to the vendor room, I advise you to get there at the crack of dawn because that line was wrapped around 2 blocks just to get into the vendor room. And the vendor room is 4 floors. So, yeah, think about that.
That's a lot. That sounds really like intimidating. How
It,
would you So you said to go to like local cons, but how else would you recommend somebody like I want to go to Dragon Con, that's my goal for next year? Like what kind of things would you recommend so far as getting prepared for such a thing?
um, hmm. If you are
Don't break
a
your pinky toe, first of
Yeah,
all.
yeah. Don't break your pinky toe. Wear shoes if you're walking around. Don't wear flip flops, and also pay attention. But if you're an introvert, I would say know your limits. If people are too much for you, just kind of tame it down just a little bit. You don't have to go the first day. You don't have to go the second day. If you just want to go for 30 minutes, good, just to get a feel for it. Um, go with people you can trust. Go with friends. Go with family. Go somebody that you know very well. Hydrate, hydrate, because there have been a couple of people there that were passing out. Um, get get a schedule. Get a schedule of the panels. Get a schedule of the panels, and know what panel you want to go to. Know how you're going to get there. Know what time you have to be there. And also, like I said, go to local cons just to get a feel for how a convention is ran, how everything is done, to see the people, what goes on, and then you should be ready for Dragon Con, which it's very huge, but it's not intimidating. It's very not. But if you do these steps, I promise you're gonna feel right in, and you're going to make great connections with great people.
What are some of the local cons that you would recommend going to?
For Birmingham, we have Kami, we have the Huntsville Expo. Um, I would say the Kusacon that's in Atlanta. Go to also. I know that they do these now. They do the one day pop up shop cons here as well. Because I know Hoover had one. I think a year ago. It was at a hotel. Go to comic book stores. Go to gaming arena. Go to gaming build streamers. That's how you can really prepare yourself to know what type of people you are going to come in contact with.
Sure, sure. It's important to know your community. Do
Yes.
you think that going to these kind of events alone kind of is a barrier for some people?
It actually, I would say yes because I went to DragonCon by myself, and it was a kind of a barrier because you didn't know nobody. So, but and then me, because everybody could tell you when I go out into the world, I never meet a stranger. I always meet a friend. So everybody just said, "Why are you so friendly?" I just love people. That's how I am. I'm silly, but it was very easy to me just to go up and talk to people, know what they like, and just hang out with them. But some people, it's kind of tough because you don't know how to approach somebody because you may think you are, awkward. You may be, they think, well, this person is different or weird, but it's kind of a barrier. It's kind of a barrier as well.
How would you recommend somebody getting over that barrier? Like if people are watching and they're like, "Oh, I want to go to these cons and I want to get prepared and I want to go to Dragon Con and I want to do these things, but I'm not a cosplayer, so I don't have that like social mechanism of giving people a talking point and I just want to go as a person." Like what kind of advice would you give someone?
Oh, that's easy. The thing you can do, go live on Facebook, go live on Instagram. If go live on Twitch, do something in front of people. Do like a maybe a minute speech in front of your family. If you feel comfortable, you'll be able to go to these conventions and talk to anybody. If you feel slightly unease with it, keep doing it more till you get to a groove where okay, now I'm flowing with it. I feel comfortable. I believe in myself, and that's easy. That's and people are at conventions are not mean. Just go up and say, "Hey, I like a cosplay. Can I get a picture?" Or, "Hey, I see you dress up as this character. So, what other anime are you in? Or can you recommend me some animes?" Or and that's how you do it. Say, "Hey, I'm from the same state that you from. So, what part of the city do you live in?" Or it's basic stuff you can do to make a connection with people at these conventions.
Okay, that's really helpful for me. Like, you know, like going around in the world, like I wouldn't call myself an introvert, but like I'm definitely somebody who struggles to talk to people,
Okay.
which is strange because I'm in customer service essentially. Um, but it is hard to just like strike up a conversation with people, and it's just like I want to be your friend, especially as an adult. Like it's so hard to
Right.
make friends as an adult.
It really is. It is very hard to be friends with adults now.
Right, right. Well, we got one more here. So
Right.
all right, cool. I want to ask you some rapid fire questions about some things that you're into.
Okay.
And you can go into as much or as little detail as you want. Are you DC or Marvel?
Marvel.
Why?
It's so I don't. It's funny because Marvel was actually doing pretty good with their movies and TV shows, and they kind of coming up with their cartoons. But then again, DC, they have the best villains. They tell the best story, and it's more dark. If you could tell, DC is dark. Marvel is more on the lighter side of superheroes, but DC would tell you the the real side of every superhero in their universe. So, but I'm gonna go with Marvel, and I see myself as Iron Man.
Okay, okay. That was my next question. Um, so we have a question from the audience. We were wondering how it feels to be featured at cons and attend even more. How is your endurance?
I'm a little late, but to the party. But can you tell everyone how it felt to be featured? Oh man, it. You know what? To this day, it still kind of blows my mind that I was actually featured at a con because I was like, I just really came up with this idea. So I'm, kind of like I'm not the person to be featured, but evidently that convention saw something in me, or people saw something in me to have me there, so they could meet me in person. So that was a humbling experience as well. So, and then from your first convention, you'll learn how to do things and how not to do things and how to pace yourself. Because the first convention, I was so excited, everything was gone, like the table was completely empty of everything. But we had more people coming up, saying, "Hey, you got more?" It's kind of like, then it's kind of hurt to tell somebody like, kind of ran out. I'm so sorry. No, so fine. But what? I appreciate what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, and thank you for being here. So, like I said, pace yourself. And if you are an introvert, learn how to do things that get you ready to speak in front of the crowds. Because when I'm at conventions, I have to talk to people 48/7, not 24/7, 48/7. at these conventions. I'm walking around. Hey, I'm gonna take a break. Hey, I'm walking to the bathroom. Hey, Skip, can I get a picture? I really gotta go to the bathroom. So can you? You know what? Come on, let's take the picture. Let's go. Let's go. And yeah, there's some awkward stories that happen in the bathroom at conventions as well. That I would. Yeah, I'm gonna share the story. So I'm in the bathroom. I'm using the bathroom. One guy comes right next to me. Ain't you Skip? Um, yeah, I am. Hey man, can I shake you? You want to wash your hands first? But I'm here, so good to see you. Yeah.
Give
Yeah,
an elbow
then right,
bump.
elbow bump. Then you know how embarrassing that is coming back to your friends at the table. So I met somebody in the bathroom. Oh, really? Yeah. So, oh yeah, we have fun times at conventions. But yeah, that's my answer.
How do you when you say pace yourself, it makes me think of like social exhaustion. Like what happens when you hit the bottom of the tank? Like you're done and the con's still got 2 more hours. How do you power through
um, energy drinks,
it?
water, and that's kind of slow talk. That's move at your pace. Don't rush into it. That's have your people have members. So this is why I say it's hard to do everything by yourself. Have people there with you, so you don't always have to talk. Now they know what you do and know what you say, so they can do the same thing while you take your rest. If so that gets you ready if you want to do an interview or if you want to rock around.
Okay, cool. So we can get back to some rapid fire, but if anybody has any questions or any comments that they'd like to throw in, please do go ahead and throw those comments and we can throw them up on the screen. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I was looking
Yeah.
to the side.
We can throw them up on the screen and then we'll have Micah answer your questions. Let's see. What are some other rapid fire? Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Okay. Tell me why.
Oh, it's just the music, the storytelling, the action. Lightsabers. Come on now. That should be it right there. Lightsabers.
I agree. I too feel this way.
Right.
I'm a big Star Wars fan. I think that some of the world building and stuff is just absolutely phenomenal. And with Star Wars
Yes.
and Marvel both, since they got taken over by the mouse, um, I think I think they've really done a lot. Like I was really concerned whenever Disney was buying up everything, but I'm pretty pleased with what they've done.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to dump money on stuff to make it better.
I agree. But the last couple of Star Wars movies, I was kind of like, huh, could have been better. But okay, we're here. We're here.
All right, I've got another question for you from the audience. Is there a con that is really family friendly or kid friendly? This person's 3 and 8-year-old grew up with Magic City Con and are very sad to see it go. So, what would you recommend for them to try to fill that void?
Because Magic City Con was a good convention. I hate to see it go too. And evidently, talking to Hoover Library right here, they had a con, the Sci-Fi Con, which was awesome. It was 1 day or 2 days, if I
It
can
was.
remember.
It ended up by the end of it. It was a 3-day event.
It was a 3-day event.
Yep.
It was at a library. It was easy to find, friendly people. They had good, great panels, and it was very awesome. Hopefully, we're praying they breaking back. Hope they're catching on. But Sci-Fi Hoover, y'all check it out. I will say also, it's in Alabama, but it's not Birmingham. Huntsville Expo. That's very awesome. It's all in one location, and it's not that many in Birmingham, which really Birmingham, we really do need to have a lot of conventions here because there's no way that the city is growing up. We got so many places here that there's no conventions not happening. So I say Comic Con, Huntsville Expo, and yeah, actually, and then that's also a Kusa Con is going on. That's in Atlanta as well. It's a 1 day con. It's very kid friendly as well.
What do you think makes the difference between a kid friendly con and a not so kid friendly con? Like, what's your what do you call it? Your rubric for suggesting these?
Mm. It depends. Well, if I go convention, it depends how I see the nighttime of the convention side goes, and that's how you can tell. If you, for example, I would advise if you come to DragonCon, if you have kids 3 and 8, at the strike, clock of 3 o'clock, do not come back out because you will see things and hear things that no kid should ever experience. But yeah, mm,
Goodness.
we nerds, but
That's dark.
whew, yeah. And then also you could tell, but also you could tell that's how people how some people are at conventions as well. Because I hate to say it, that there's a dark side to conventions, and I hate to say it, but you see these things. You see people that are stalking women, that are racial, that is out being racially ignorant towards people at conventions. So that's a telltale sign as well.
When you see stuff like that, does your superhero cop cape come on? Like, do you feel like compelled to intervene?
I s- yes, yes, it does.
Yes, period.
Speak. Yeah, and funny story because when you said that's like, yeah, I kind of did that, but evidently it was this guy touching on this woman. I was kind of like, wait. I went up to her and said, "You okay?" She looked at me strange, like, yeah. Come to find out that was her husband. I was like, oh, okay. Hmm.
Right,
Well, I'm kind of glad that we solved that situation.
right. Because it could have been something dangerous, you
It could
know?
have.
Yeah,
It
for sure.
very.
All right, cool. So, what is your favorite comic book? I see that you've got lots there on the wall. Are these prints that you've got?
Yeah, these are this is just one wall. You have to see the other wall, but yeah, these are just prints that I got.
Okay.
But I would say my favorite comic book would have to be whew, mm, that's a good question. There's so many choices. Um, right here, the
Okay.
bat, the Batman Who Laughs,
Okay.
Dark Middle Nights. That's basically telling the origin stories of Batman's if he would turn rogue and kill certain supervillains. And for example, right here, that's the Batman Who Laughs. So evidently, you know who he killed, and he killed the Joker, which the Joker gas got inside him, and he went on a killing spree. He killed the whole Bat family, and he became the Batman Who Laughs, which is the very intelligent Batman Knights of all Batmans. You have Daybreaker, you have Red Death, and each of these names go with a superhero that Batman has killed.
Okay. Okay. Pretty heavy. Pretty
Yeah,
heavy stuff.
very, very heavy.
I think my favorite comic book is there was a standalone Mystique series that ran, and Mystique is my favorite of the X-Men. Oh yes.
Really?
Oh yes. It is fantastic. Basically she's on this journey. There was a scientist who took samples and was trying to clone her, and she was like, no, nobody needs this. Like, this is a bad thing to just like be introducing into society. um so yeah, it's really good. You can borrow it sometime. It's great.
Okay.
um what is your favorite X-Men?
My favorite X-Man. Huh. Wait. Where's it at? Gambit.
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 Strong
He's
choice.
very because he's from New Orleans and he just got that talking. He just got that very pretty boy type of style with him. It's kind of like, ah, that's my future cosplay. But Gambit is my favorite X-Man.
That would be a really cool one to do. Like, you would just what, get a trench coat and like some cards with the stuff on them.
Yes, the pole and get the chest plate and everything.
Nice, nice. Where do you get your cosplay stuff from? Do you make it or do you purchase it?
I purchased some. I get from it's oh god, I was just on the website today. Is it cosplay4.com? I think that's it. Then I get it from some. I get from Halloween.com or some. I just call sometimes I go to the thrift store and I closet cosplay. And some people don't know what that means. Closet cosplay basically is you going inside your own closet or you can go shopping for that cosplay that you want to do, which that's cheaper, but those are the ways I get my cosplays.
Okay. What's the difference between a closet cosplay and like Disney bounding?
Disney bound what closet? Basically, you got everything in your closet that from regular clothes that you can actually match with somebody in like any universe from anime to all the way down to video games. And Disney bound is basically you going directly for that. You going directly for that look. I'm talking about you want to do Mickey Mouse, you going for the pants, you going for the gloves, you going for the ears, you going for that particular look. And
Okay.
of course, you can go. I'm pretty sure Walt Disney has a website. You can go and just get anything you want clothing wise from them.
Right. Right. The dangerous mouse. We have
Right.
another question. What's a mainstream comic storyline that is so good that you think it should be studied in schools like they do with other classics?
Oh God, that's
Because graphic novels in schools, it's coming up.
it is. It is. Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, and when he asked that question, I looked at this one. I would say JoJo Bizarre Adventure.
Okay. Why?
It the storyline, you have a lineage of family from Joseph all the way, I don't know where this JoJo is going to end, but it tells the story of how the Joestars came to be, and they have this certain enemy, which is Dio, which Dio can never die. He's still alive, by the way. And it tells the story, the background of each family member and who they gave birth to and what are they going through to get to the next step to get to produce that next family member. Because recently they say all the Joseph Joestars supposed to die, but some has kind of beat that curse, and it has certain history in it too. Because every they have something called stands. That's kind of like their special powers, and you can actually see it coming from their body. And each stand it's actually named after a song or a artist. So I say JoJo would be a good one. Would be a good one to study.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. What is your take on? I just want to touch on some recent stuff.
Okay.
What is your take on the new Little Mermaid? Because it
It's
broke the internet.
it did. It did. It goes to show like representation matters, and some people took it well and some didn't. Some actually made a group just to demoralize black people, because they give the black people the stereotypes, like we eat watermelon, they smoke, they always smoking, they always cussing. And it was kind of hurtful to see for somebody who's of that nature. Halle Berry, I think she's going to do a phenomenal job. It's just to see, and then she could sing, and of course we grew up with the Little Mermaid. The original Little Mermaid, she could sing, and it had good music. So you had to have somebody that could sing, could carry a tune, that would put on a good show for the people that grew up watching the original Little Mermaid, just to see it again on the big screen. But I think it's awesome. I just hate that we're still in a certain mindset that people still think like that, and have still got bad views of African Americans. And I love to see it. I just kind of hate the reaction that came with it.
Sure, sure. I think that it's a really important thing for representation because you see these videos of little girls at like Disney parades, for example,
Hmm.
and they'll be dressed like the character and they're so excited. And now they have like their own character,
Right.
and I think that that's a really fantastic thing because Tiana is not enough. Like, um, and
Yes.
I was talking with my brother about this recently, and we were talking about how great it was and everything, and he said, I wonder if anybody noticed she's half fish. Like,
And-
like of all the things that we're arguing about, like it's a mermaid here and it's an elf on Rings of Power or whatever.
right. I love you, brother. I think I can say it. I bet nobody that say y'all do know half of her body is a fin.
Right,
We not
right.
okay.
Have you noticed that her hair is perfectly blow dried underwater? Like there are other plot holes here that
Yes,
we should be worried about.
I was like, that's beautiful, but I don't know how her hair stays so dry. But that's the laws of physics, so I ain't finna touch that.
Right, for sure. What is your favorite Disney character?
My favorite Disney character would be Shadow Man, Dr. Voodoo from Princess and the Frog.
Okay, cool. I support that.
That would be my next cosplay too soon. So yes.
You just need a series of really long coats, is what I'm
Yes.
hearing. You just need a lot of jackets.
A lot of jackets. A lot of jackets. Yep. And a cane.
Right? Maybe like a really long staff that like retracts sometimes. That'd be dope.
Yes. Oh, that's a good idea. Thank you for that.
That's what I do. See, I told you I'm a sideline nerd. I live vicariously through other nerds because
I
I'm not actually going to dress up and go myself, but like I'm rooting for you.
see that's a superpower right there, people. Right there.
What's your favorite Batman villain?
The Riddler.
Okay.
Riddle me this, riddle me. And my favorite Riddler was Jim Carrey. I think he did it so well.
I think so too. That's one of my favorite movies ever.
Oh yes, I'm so
I
I'm
think
not
that Tim
alone.
Burton did such a just spot on job with getting Gotham the way that it was. I know that a lot of people prefer the realistic Christopher Nolan stuff, but I can't get
Because
down with Batman in a tank.
it right, because I love that Batman. How the Adam West Batman. I like how Tim Burton tried to bring it into our generation. It's kind of like okay, he kind of trying to stick with the original, even though you're taking out the pows and booms. The what you call those emojis. Ah, good
Mhm.
times. Good times.
Right on, right on. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about or pitch? We have like 5 minutes.
Hello, people. I gotta do my little opening. Baby boys, baby girls, what's going on? It's your boy SKIP.88 here from BlerdOver here with the Public Library of Hoover. Thank you for inviting me on. I was so honored to be the first guest. So I wish nothing but y'all for great success and keep going with the nerd talk. And I just feel honored just to be the first one on. Also, people that you're watching, I have a documentary out. It's called Being the Blur. It is on YouTube. Type in Being the Blur, and you will see this ugly face right here on the screen. So y'all check that out. And also, stay tuned because we do interviews as well on Facebook and on IG, where we interview other people of color, African Americans as well, that does things in the nerd community, and we hear their stories as well. We Twitch, we do podcasts, adult wise friendly. So just put that out there. And we do TikToks. We made funny skits, which we got more skits coming up. And just be on the lookout. We'll be doing more great things for the community, and hopefully we'll do more things for the community as well, just to have more outings, to have more, networking. And yep, that's it.
All right,
Hope that
awesome. Well,
sounds
thank
good.
you so much for coming to us tonight. We're really excited to have you here and really excited to kick off Nerd Talk with such an awesome guest. So
Stop. Keep going.
you've been great. Thank you, everybody, for coming out, and keep your eyes peeled for more Nerd Talks from the Hoover Public Library. Thanks for coming out. Bye, y'all.
Take care.